Thank you so much for your interest in the community climate grants, which support grassroots climate and environmental action in Fife. The grants are delivered in a partnership between Climate Action Fife and Fife Climate Hub, and my name's Craig Leitch. I am the manager of the Climate Hub, who are administrating the funds. Just like before, we've got two pots of funding under the Community Climate Grants umbrellas. We've got the Small Grants Fund and the Seed and Development Fund. And in this video, I'm going to focus on explaining how to apply for the Small Grants Fund. So if you'd like to find out more about seed and development, then there is a separate video available on the FCAN website for you to find out more about that. So the Small Grants Fund can support any activity that engages your local community on the climate emergency. Your activities should increase knowledge and awareness of the climate emergency and/or increase skills and confidence to take climate action. And you can apply for up to £500 to cover costs of things like staff, volunteer expenses, event materials, room hire, or marketing. Ideally, your small grants events should be aimed at those people who are not already engaged on climate emergency, and they should try to get the climate conversation going in your community. So some examples are you might want to run a climate-themed film showing, some sort of climate conversation workshop that gets people chatting about the issues. It could be a lead walk with a climate or a biodiversity theme, a repair session, growing workshop, or a tree planting day. Anything along those lines. But my top tip, if you want to be successful in your application, is that whatever you plan, try to make it clear in your application how you're going to get the message across to people taking part that what they are doing is a climate-related activity. So if you are running a growing activity, for example, like in this photograph, how do you explain to those that come along that growing your own vegetables is a climate-friendly thing to do? Or if you want to run a reuse workshop where you turn an old t-shirt into a bag, how will people taking part understand that reusing and repairing is a way to tackle this climate emergency? You don't need to be an expert on the topic. It doesn't have to be a big presentation, but just think about how you're going to get that point across, how are you going to make sure that those climate conversations happen. That way you'll be successful. So last year, the Small Grants Fund provided nearly £7,000 that supported 19 different projects and engaged around 900 people in total. So I just want to share 3 examples that hopefully will inspire you to apply for this year. So the first here is Sustainable Cooper, who went big and held a River Eden Open Day as part of the Fife Climate Festival. And this was a chance to celebrate their river in Cooper. And it gave participants the chance to experience many different ways that they can get involved and in volunteer activities to support the biodiversity of the catchment. So they had 12 stalls from a number of different organisations, including the Deer Centre, BugLife Scotland, Fife Coast and Countryside Trust, and Community in Coopers organised lots of kids' activities, including this lovely banner that you can see on the screen there. In the afternoon, they had speakers from Edelston Water Project, the Otter Recovery Project, and the River Eden Partnership, and they talked all about the opportunities to get involved with volunteering in the river. And it was a big success. 250 people attended, and they had 40 volunteers sign up to their organisation that day. So it was a very positive outcome. Grow West Fife, based in Curris, they wanted to run a film screening, so they chose The Seeds of Vandana Shiva, which celebrates the remarkable life story of a Gandhian eco-activist involved in the organic food movement. So participants, they turned up early and they were rewarded with some lovely soup to eat, and they had time to swap and share seeds before the screening. And it also gave them a time to connect with other gardening projects in the area and the other local groups that attended. And after the film, they had discussions about growing food security, and they shared ideas about how the West Fife Growing Network could support future activities. Charlestown, Limekilns and Pattismuir Nature Conservation Group used their grant to purchase litter picking equipment, and they delivered 7 beach cleans across 7 beaches as part of Fife Climate Festival. They were able to get their message across easily about the impacts and issues of marine litter, the need to monitor and sewage outlets, and the need to cut down on the use of single-use plastics. And the equipment will have a legacy beyond these events, as it will be used in their new Beach Guardian initiative, where local people adopt beaches in the area. In total, 52 volunteers, both adults and children, representing a good selection of their community, took part. So there's some examples now. Who can apply? So we are looking for applications from grassroots organisations that are community-led and based in Fife. Applications are welcome from all organisations, no matter what the focus of delivery. So in the past, we've had youth groups, gardening groups, community trusts, sports clubs and support groups all apply. We can only accept application from constituted non-profit distributing organisations, and you'll also need to have your own bank account in order for us to pay the funds. If your organisation struggles with either of these, what you could do is you could partner with an organisation who are constituted and do have a bank account, and that way you can still deliver your project. There are a few things that we cannot fund, and that's just to do with terms and conditions of our funders. So we can't fund statutory activities and activities that replace government funding, loans, endowments, or interest. We cannot fund paying somebody else to write your application. For any political activities, including lobbying or activities that make profit, or VAT that you can reclaim. We cannot fund things that you've already bought, items which only benefit individuals, any religious activities, although, of course, religious groups are very welcome to apply, and we cannot fund any alcohol. So projects should take place during the Fife Climate Festival, which runs from the 23rd of September to the 5th of October. And this is a festival that will celebrate community climate action. It's going to be filled with inspiring and interesting events happening all over the region. And we're just inviting as many community groups as want to put on events and celebrate all the amazing things that are happening out there. All the projects supported by the Small Grants Fund will automatically be included in the programme and will be added to the Climate Action Fife and the Fife Climate Hub website, and they'll be promoted through both projects' social media channels and newsletters. This will help to boost the profile of your event and also your organisation. And of course, you are welcome to put on other events that are not funded through the fund into the programme. We would be more than happy if you wanted to do that. So application is designed to be short and relatively pain-free. There's an application form you can download from the fcan.org.uk website /funding. And as well as submitting that form, you do need to send in a copy of your organisation's constitution. And again, a reminder that the top tip to being successful is how will you communicate that climate message to the audience attending. The closing date for applications for the small grants is the 16th of June. And if you've got any questions or any help that you require, then the email address on screen is the one to reach out to, info@fcan.org.uk. Here is the little application timeline to help you know when to apply. So applications close on the 16th of June. We will be in contact with successful applicants and inform them in the middle of July with the idea that we can pay the money into your account by the end of the month. Although we do need a signed grant agreement form back from you before we can do that. The delivery period is in the Fife Climate Festival, the 23rd of September to the 5th of October. And we require an end of projects report submitted roughly about 2 weeks after the end of the festival, so by the 20th of October. And it's not a big undertaking, the final report. It's just a few questions to tell us what you spent the grant on, what activities you delivered, what you learnt, and share any feedback that you received. And of course, we would love to get as many photographs of the amazing stuff that you've been doing as possible. So yeah, please do take them while you're doing your events. What we will do with that, we might use it to create a case study, which will be shared with our funders, which will be shared on the websites to celebrate the amazing activities going on across Fife. And there is support available there. So there's 2 great websites full of resources. Climate Action Fife and FCAN, Fife Climate Hub's website, have got resources page where you can find inspirations, ideas, events, plans, templates, tips to get climate conversation going, all sorts of useful things. And you might even find links to organisations that can help you deliver your event. We'll also put on some training on how to talk about the climate emergency in August. So do look out for the link to sign up to that. It'll just give you that confidence to have those conversations and make sure that climate message is transferred. These links to the websites and lots of others will be shared with you at the time of grant payments. So thank you so much for listening. We really love giving out these grants and seeing all the amazing things that happen as a result. So I'm just going to leave you now with some photographs from some of the projects that we funded in the last round. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.